Hi guys, cinematic recap here. Before we start, warning. Spoilers ahead. Today, I'm gonna explain an American inspirational drama movie, called Palmer. The movie tells the story of Eddie Palmer, a prominent former high school and ex-felon who has just completed a 12-year prison sentence. He was released from prison on parole, so he wants to start a new life by moving in with his grandmother, Vivian. She also occasionally looks after a flamboyant 8-year-old boy named Sam, who is the son of her neighbor Shelley, a drug addict. In addition, Sam has a feminine personality and prefers things such as dresses, princesses, and tea parties over more traditionally masculine activities. Vivian really cares for him because his parents don't really pay much attention to Sam, especially when they are away from home. The next day, Palmer goes around town looking for work. Unfortunately, he still cannot find any job because of his status as an ex-criminal. Not only that, other people still talk about his past even when he is worshiping at the church. Later, Vivian gives him some money to buy groceries before he leaves the house to find another job. When Palmer finishes shopping, he accidentally sees the job opening as a counter person, but suddenly the shop manager says that the vacancy is cancelled, as if he wants to gently reject Palmer. He gets even angrier when Vivian accuses him of taking the rest of the change earlier. As a result, he decides to get drunk at the bar, and luckily, he finds another job opening as a janitor in the local school where Sam studies. The following morning, he goes to the school to apply for the job. He then meets with the chief janitor and also the school principal. At first, the principal still rejects him because of his status, but in the end he is accepted after he begs to be given a second chance to become a better person. Soon, Palmer, Vivian, and Sam have dinner together. At that time, Vivian apologizes to him because it turns out that she miscounted her change yesterday. Apart from being a janitor at the school, Palmer also helps Vivian to look after Sam at school because Shelley has repeatedly left town with her violent boyfriend, Jerry. One day, Palmer feels very sad after finding that Vivian has passed away in her bedroom. Because of this, he is forced to become Sam's temporary guardian until Shelley returns home. At the same time, Palmer feels uncomfortable with Sam's behavior, which does not act like a boy in general. He immediately takes Sam to the police station and entrusts him to the police. Furthermore, he also reports Sam's parents for neglecting their child for 2 weeks. However, all of his actions are undone after he thinks a second time that he feels bad for Sam, eventually taking him back home. The relationship between the two has improved over time. Sam always follows Palmer wherever he goes. The news of Sam, who now living at Palmer's house, spreads to the school, including Sam's teacher, Maggie. Therefore, she visits Palmer's house to see how Sam is doing. She thanks Palmer because he wants to take care of Sam after he was abandoned by his parents. She also gives her phone number in case Palmer needs help taking care of Sam. Sometime later, Palmer develops a closer friendship with the boy by taking him to the high school football game and bowling fundraiser. Furthermore, he also develops a relationship with Maggie. As their relationship gets better, they spend every day just like father and son, taking Sam to the school every day, celebrating birthdays, and hanging out at cafes together. Besides that, Palmer also does not forget to report all his recent activities to the police because his status is still on parole. However, all those moments of happiness suddenly change when Palmer reads Vivian's will. It is written that she left her house and all her assets to the church. Palmer must have been very surprised to read her will. Moreover, Vivian's lawyer tells Palmer that once the house is sold, he will have 30 days to move out of the house. He also only gets $5,000 from the sale of the house. One night, Palmer and Sam are having a Halloween party at Maggie's house. After Sam falls asleep, the two chat while telling their respective pasts. At that moment, Maggie wonders why Palmer ended up in prison. He then tells all of his past to Maggie, revealing that after a promising high school football career, he was injured in a game while playing for Louisiana State University. As a result, he had to retire early as a footballer due to the severe injury. After he became depressed because he lost his scholarship and dropping out of college, he started taking drugs at home. When he started to run out of money, he decided to rob the safe of a rich family in town with the help of his friends. The house was supposed to be empty, but the owner suddenly came home and Palmer nearly beat him to death with a baseball bat. He eventually got caught by the police and was sent to the prison. Afterwards, Maggie reassures Palmer that although that was his behavior back then, he has turned into a good man now, showing all the good he has done in Sam's life. One day, Sam comes home from his friend's house crying with makeup smeared on his face. Palmer believes it was one of Sam's classmates who did it, so he forces Sam to fight back. However, Sam tells him that it was actually one of Palmer's friend. Feeling angry, Palmer finally finds his friend at a bar and beats him up straight away, telling him never to bully Sam again. The following day, Shelley unexpectedly returns home and comes to retrieve Sam. Palmer can only be silent and cannot do anything because after all Shelley is his biological mother. Shortly after Sam moved in with his mother, Palmer is surprised when Child Protection Services suddenly comes to take Sam away from the house. He immediately follows them to the office and attempts to receive Sam's guardianship, but he is rejected due to his parole status and the uncertainty of his current life situation. He even tries another way to receive Sam's guardianship by bribing Shelley later. He asks her to make a statement to the police so Palmer can become Sam's legal guardian. Unluckily, Shelley insists on refusing his request and asks him out of her house. In court, Maggie accompanies Palmer in trying to convince the judge to accept his request as Sam's guardian. A few moments later, Shelley suddenly comes to the court and it is her turn to assure the judge that she will take good care of Sam. Despite Palmer's pleas earlier, the judge ultimately orders Sam to reunite with Shelley. Later, Palmer listens to the commotion at Sam's house and witnesses Jerry brutally abusing Shelley and Sam. He immediately intervenes and sees that both Shelley and Jerry are using drugs in front of Sam. He then attacks Jerry and flees with the boy as fast as he could. Shelley calls the police and Palmer is accused of kidnapping Sam. Soon, Maggie calls Palmer to tell him that he is currently being chased by the police. Hearing this, he decides to bring Sam back to Shelley. Arriving at the scene, he is immediately arrested and taken away by the police. Meanwhile, Sam tries to fight off the police officers and chases after the police car, crying that he would rather be with Palmer than his mother. The next morning, Shelley declines to press charges and covers for Palmer after seeing Sam's love for Palmer last night. She then meets up with Sam and tearfully says that it is okay if he wants to live with Palmer. Hence, Shelley eventually chooses to give Palmer custody of Sam because she cannot take good care of Sam with her current condition. She also promises to undergo rehabilitation so that she can be a good parent for Sam later on. At the end of the movie, Palmer and Sam are seen preparing to sell Vivian's house as they live with Maggie ever since. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.